Hi there. So welcome to a TLC video where we're going to look at using Google Docs for collaboration and assessment for learning. So obviously with the restrictions around movement in the classroom, social distancing, and with continuing to teach online, it can be difficult to arrange group work with using less paper as well. So it's not as easy. The Google apps that we've got can help with this, and they can give us additional ways to assess and give feedback as well. So we're thinking about collaboration in terms of working as a group rather than just in a group. So trying to give the group a shared goal, but also looking at giving individual responsibility within that group. We know how important group work is. We know that we want learners to be active and not just passengers in the learning, and that it encourages engagement, and obviously it's more fun. It is taking a risk with this type of learning, and especially some of the examples we'll show you, but it's for tutors to make it a safe space where learners can build their confidence, where they can expose the learning that they're doing, and obviously they can become more open and learn from each other, and that then builds that virtual circle of confidence building. In terms of assessment for learning or formative assessment, we know that this is one of the most essential elements in terms of successful outcomes. So we're looking at using the different apps to be able to quickly assess how learners are doing and to be able to give them targeted and specific feedback so that they can improve. So this time we are looking at using Google Docs for either or both of those things together. So we've got a couple of examples that we've done here on Google Docs to show how learners can collaborate together and also how you can do that assessment for learning. So in this first one, it's a simple digital skills example, but bearing in mind you can adapt any of these for your own curriculum area. So we've outlined the task at the top. They're going to make a poster together, and there is an individual task for them to do under their own learner name. So the first thing to note is that you can see up at the top here who is in the document with you. So once the learners are in the document, you can see who's there, and you can also see from the flashing cursor where that learner is and whether they're typing. So your name comes up as they click it, so you'll be able to see pretty quickly if your learner knows what their particular icon is. Okay, so you'll be able to see straight away who's engaged, who understands the task, who needs help, just from that flashing cursor as to who is where. If we look at a second example, so again, we've got the same idea. We've got a task at the top. We've got a group task. They're going to make a list of organisational features in this case. And we've also got individual tasks within that. So we've given each learner their own feature to explain, and they're going to check each other's. So again, we can see where the learners are, whether they're typing. So in this case, learner B has got that right, that's great. We might find that learner D, for example, has not understood what's happening. So okay, so we can see that they're typing, we can get on top of that, but we can also then use the add comment function to do some feedback. So it might be that you can do some verbal feedback across the classroom or in the Meet, or it might be that you want to use the add comment up here to do some feedback. So you select the bit of text to link to that specific comment, and you can then put your comment in here. You can ask a question, you can give a suggestion, Okay, so you're, isn't it always the case that you type incorrectly when you're wanting to do it? But you can see there that that three-dot menu lets you edit your note, okay, your comment that you're doing. So that particular comment then shows who's made it, and it is attached to that particular work that the learner's done. The learner can feedback, they can respond to you. So over on the learner's side, so they see that note, and from their side of things then, if they click on that comment, they have the option to reply. So you can get that dialogue going where they can give the feedback and they can go back to you. So you'll be able to see that comment there and the response. Looking at our third example, we did a maths one. Again, bearing in mind, this is just for illustration, so you can adapt and amend for your own curriculum area and for your own level. So this is maybe an entry level question. We have got a maths question for them to look at, and we are asking these learners here to tell us first of all what operation they need to use. So, you're throwing in that maths vocabulary and being able to gauge whether or not they understand that vocabulary, and then asking them to work their answer. So in this one, I've given them the job to do in pairs. So I've given each pair of learners a space for them to have a chat and write their answers. So you might do this, for example, in breakout rooms if you're on a meet, or you might in your classroom have put, it's just about possible to do a bit of paired work if you put the two learners that are on the nearest tables together. So they can have a chat. Do they understand what an operation is? They can then add their answer in there. So learners A and B have not quite got the hang of understanding what calculate the total means. They say they think they need to times it. Learners C and D are okay. They've decided they need to add. So again, you can do the comment function and give your feedback and get your responses. So we'll give learners C and D a little well done, so they know they're on the right track. And we can go and speak to learners A and B and find out what's going on with their understanding of operations. When a learner has dealt with the comment and acknowledged it, they click the blue tick here to mark it as resolved. Okay, so what comes up if you click on there is mark as resolved and hide the discussion. Okay, so our learners are happy with that and they're now going to click it and that will disappear. Okay, however, it's not lost forever. You can go back into the comment history and find those comments. So up at the top here, open comment history. If we click on that, you can see all of the comments that you've made and the responses that the learners made. So this can be really useful for evidence in terms of IOPs and so on, if you want to show that sort of progression in terms of targets and so on. So it clears the document, but it doesn't disappear from the history. And the other way that we've got to be able to check who's contributed to the document and what they've contributed and when is to look at file version history. Okay, so under file you have version history, see version history, and that will give you a list of when the document has been edited and by whom. So you've got the times, you've got the individuals that have contributed to it, so you can easily check back and see exactly who has done what on your document. Okay, let's go back to the original version. You just click on the arrow and that takes you back. So just a couple of basics is obviously it's important to make sure that you've given the right sharing rights when you've set up your documents. So across in your share button, by default it's set to anyone within the adult ed organisation can view. So you need to change that to edit for the particular individuals that you want to add into the top and have editing rights. And the final thing to say is with Docs, the main sort of presentation to do this shared working, this collaboration, is through a table. So each of these is a table that I've just quickly annotated or put pictures in or whatever you want to do. So we are on Insert, Table, and you can just do a quick rough table depending on how big you want it to be. And then from there you can allocate your learners a particular box and a particular task from there. So you can populate your table then with whatever you want, but that is the basic way to to give your learners a space each in the Google Doc. So presume that most of you know the basics of Google Docs, but if you need any sort of technical support in terms of the functions of it, then obviously the Maze staff IT support page is the first port of call, or you can book in a session with the IT team. If you want more information in terms of how to explore these ideas of different ways of using it in teaching for collaboration or assessment, then we have the joint TLC IT drop-in session on Thursday afternoons, Thursday lunchtimes, or you can get in touch with any of the team.